First thing's true belief, okay? I was actually talking to a doctor about this because I was trying to use a medical term. I was trying to say triage, okay? Who knows what triage is? What's triage? Okay, what's the problem? How fast you have to be seen, okay? So in the same way, in terms of beliefs, think there's 3 levels of triage here, okay? So you've got one level where Christians can have different opinions about things. And the Bible's real clear, don't quarrel, don't fight and argue about opinions. So one of the things you see in the Bible is talking about don't fight about food and drink, right? For some people, they have a conscience to eat this. Some people have a conscience to drink that. Don't fight. That's a difference of understanding. One person's maybe, more developed and mature in their understanding. Another one's a little bit immature in this. They're growing. They have different understandings. But listen, don't look down on that one. Don't look down on that one. Don't get in a fight about it. Christians are going to have different opinions on their understanding of some passages, okay? But then there's a whole nother level. Okay, this is the level, the easiest way to understand these differences are more like the level of church denominations. Okay, so some, understanding of baptism. Now the reason why baptism is not a first level is because baptism doesn't really save you. It's an evidence of salvation, but because it doesn't save you, in a sense that it's not something to fight over, sprinkling versus baptism. Now, it's still important to the denominations. That's why denominations have different beliefs over it. Other denominational differences, do we have one pastor or multiple pastors? Do the pastors make all the decisions and then you have bishops and overseers over that? Or do you have a congregational style decision making? Or do you have a presbytos, a group of elders that make decisions, okay? So church government is another issue, okay? And then also like the Lord's Supper. Right? So do we take grape juice or do we take wine? What kind of bread do we do? What's our understanding even of the Lord's Supper? Second level, okay? So opinions, denominations, whoa, here's the non-negotiables. This is what it means to be a Christian. This is the first order beliefs. Do you believe Jesus is the Son of God? Do you believe He died on the cross and rose from the grave? Do you believe He's the only way of salvation? Do you believe there's a real heaven and a real hell, and that sin is our offense against God? That leads us, that friends, you see this? Who is God? What is salvation? Who is God? What is salvation? And you start to question who Jesus is, who God is. So that's why you get breakoffs, which we call cults. Well, they say, well, yeah, we'll call ourselves Christians, but we don't really think Jesus is God. Or the Holy Spirit, that's just an angel or just a generic reference. That's not really God. Whoa! You just countered who God is. Not Christian. Cult or sect would be another term for them, okay? Or you go the way of, how are you saved? Well, you just got to be good enough. You got to do this. You got to go through these works, these sacraments. You got to do these things, and if you do enough things, then you qualify to be saved. Authority, way of salvation, okay? You see the differences? So go back to this. Everyone who believes that Jesus is the Christ, who He is, who He says He is, has been born of God. And then implicit in that, the Christ is the Messiah. And the whole point is the Messiah is the way of salvation. Who God is? Salvation. Okay? I know that was a lot there on the first point, but this true belief really matters. And also, we've said this a few times, but you can say the right answers. You can have the head knowledge of this and your heart be far from God. They confess me with his lips, but their heart is far from me. Okay? So we got to be careful. Those lips, those confessions have to be in line with true belief in the heart.